6 AI agents, each built with a unique edge. Miko, AI, Team Leader. Ori AI, Fundamental Analyst. Exi, AI, Technical Analyst. Mesa, AI, Risk Management Specialist. Fenwa, AI Market Sentiment Analyst. And Naledi AI, the cryptocurrency expert. Together, they're engineered to protect, guide, and transform your trading. The future of trading is here. Experience Zentrix AI.
Okay, what's up people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing good as always. If you are enjoying the content and finding it useful, engaging, please be sure to drop a like on the stream. It does really help out. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future, and of course share it with your friends. What is up, Romeo? Good morning. Hope you are doing well. As always, guys, we'll go through a bunch of markets today. We'll start with the USD as always. Take a look at the DXY, USD majors, gold and silver. If you do have any requests, any pairs you're looking at, please do drop it in the chat and we can take a look, or any specific time frames or any trades you might be in or you want to share. Let us know. We can take a look together and discuss. But yeah, as always, we'll start with the USD, which is looking pretty bearish at the moment. We were hinting at a bearish move yesterday, and it looks like we've actually seen that move come into fruition. So yeah, with that move now, that has definitely put me bearish, and I do think prices are likely to come back into lows. It just looks like the higher time frame trend is just continuing at this point. This consolidation will be trapped in for the past month or so. Looks like it's been put to an end, and price is now seeing that momentum outside of that range, which is the key component of this move. It's not necessarily that price is bearish or we're seeing really strong selling pressure. It's more so that price is now breaking out of this range. The consistent lower highs price has been putting in have now really seen that continuation. So the likelihood of us coming back to lows here is pretty high. At least test the lows. We might not necessarily break through them or continue the trend, but at least get back to the lows is a pretty probable move now. So as for any opportunities regarding USD, I would have a very short bias on the dollar. So basically looking to buy anything against the USD right now. And in terms of opportunities, I quite like this area here. Of course, coming back to retest the low of the range, but also a really nice area of supply now. We did consolidate there for a few hours, couple of days, and eventually price is now seeing some conviction to the downside. So keeping it simple, lower time frame pullbacks, looking basically for the next lower high in this sequence. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can we find the fifth one? Perhaps even a breaking retest this low could look interesting, especially if you drop to maybe like a 15-minute chart. That could be an area to keep an eye on. But in terms of trajectory, I do expect USD to keep falling here. Very surprising to see price suddenly rally. And it looks like we're about to break through this low, which again is pretty significant because this was the low which gave us this high. So technically speaking, if you're focusing purely on market structure, you got a low, high, higher low, higher high. Technically, you want price to break through that low before you do start shorting. Not always do I wait for a low to be taken out before I do shift my bias, because sometimes it could take a while, or sometimes the picture is very clear beforehand. But when we do break structure, is always that key significant component to say that, okay, that bullish structure is put to an end and we can really focus on the bearish structure. And that's kind of what we're getting right now. So yeah, dollar, more downside, 96.365 will be targets for that one. And euro dollar, pretty much the exact same, of course, in the opposite direction. Looks like we're heading back to the swing highs at 1.183. We made a very significant move yesterday, breaking out that range. I believe that was just pretty much as we ended the stream yesterday, actually. I think that was, yeah, that was a few hours after, and price is now showing a lot of conviction to the upside. Again, I did say it would be nice for a pullback into this area, but looks like euro was far too bullish to even see that happen. I do like this consolidation here as well. There was a slight break and retest, but it would be nice to see a slightly bigger pullback there. If euro, this could be a nice opportunity again on like a 30, 15-minute chart for some entries to take it back into 1.183 there. So I quite like what I'm seeing here with euro dollar. A lot of bullish momentum in line with the DXY and our opportunity is basically to take advantage of that momentum and buy the dips all the way back to highs. Now, we don't have so much room to travel into. We are going to be greeted by resistance pretty soon now, but I do think there's a likeliness for us to take out the highs. Might not necessarily see a massive move. Maybe go and hit the next big psychological level at 1.19, but as we approach resistance, I naturally have to be a bit more careful now for the buys. Yes, momentum's up. We saw the continuation of these higher lows, which again is the inverse of what the DXY did. But if I was looking to trade euro, it would be on like a 15-minute chart, trying to gauge these smaller pullbacks for a long. At the moment, we're not really seeing much pullbacks, to be honest. Just brief kind of periods of consolidation followed by continuation. So it would be nice to get a bigger pullback on the cards, which could happen. And targets 1.183 and maybe even beyond that as well. But pound USD does have a bit more room. So I think in terms of opportunities, pound will give you slightly cleaner trades and a bit better in terms of the risk to reward. Of course, euro could still have a big move, but we do have that resistance just ahead of us, so we have to be careful. Whereas pound, now that we've broken through this level here, let's draw that again. Now that we've broken through this level here, that becomes our next big level, and automatically we've got a lot more pips between current price and that next big target, about 150. So if you can find some intraday pullbacks along the way, there's a lot of room to ride. There's a lot of space for price to move into. Therefore, there's opportunity. Euro dollar, a little bit cramped there. Of course, we could see price break through, but you do take a bit of a gamble. Price could very much reject resistance there. So I'm liking what I'm seeing with pound USD. There was a nice pullback intraday yesterday to retest the zone, and now we've seen again a continuation. So the plan is just looking for more upside. Again, if you're intraday, maybe keeping a close eye on this last down move. Now we get a continuation for that. Could see price pullback, retest, and continue. Again, just looking for those pullbacks. However you look to trade pullback, counter trend line breaks, moving averages, flag patterns, waiting for double bottoms, whatever you're looking for, break and retest, whatever you're looking for. This is just where you're trying to look for those opportunities to follow that momentum. As long as pound USD doesn't break back underneath this level, so as long as we don't come crashing back down like this, then of course I will look to reanalyze and maybe switch the bias around. But at this point, as long as we stay above this area, I see momentum eventually picking up back to 1.137839. Bit of a mouthful there. I see price picking up all the way back to the highs there. So the plan is, again, looking for those pullbacks, looking to ride that momentum. It'll still be nice to see a bigger break and retest of that zone. But yeah, if you're intraday, there's opportunities. If you're swing, there should be opportunities as well. Dollar CAD looks like it's picked its direction as well. Lovely counter trend line break. I was waiting for a push back to the highs. Unfortunately, it wasn't meant to be. I was looking for a push back into the high to reject it, then catch the sell. In a similar fashion to what he did over here, price ripped the high, really aggressive reaction. That's kind of what I was looking to bank on and take advantage on just in the next high over there. And that way I'll get a really safe stop loss. My entry be way up high, and it will really allow me to hold maybe for the full move back to lows, which is where I'm expecting price to eventually get to. So dollar CAD is another pair with a lot of room. We spoke about euro, a little bit cramped. Pound USD, a lot more room to trade there. Dollar CAD, I think it's got even more room. In terms of pips, you've got 200 pips there, but just look at the space between current price and that next big level. I expect price just to basically continue this bearish trend here. So that's very much the plan there of dollar CAD. There is a big support level ahead of us, so I would be watchful of that. I wouldn't have the thought of just jumping into shorts because, okay, I expect price to continue. There's no really logical place for a stop loss right now. You're going to be greeted with very significant support in a matter of time right now, so I wouldn't suggest looking to short just yet. But again, similar to pound USD, a strong break of this area, as long as price stays below, that could be something to look at for, again, a bit more of a swing bias. Maybe if the market does pull back to some degree, there might be some intraday shorts on the way down. There's a lot of momentum here. Let's say if we have another pullback to form another lower high like we did here, maybe even a push back into supply there. That could be a nice place for a pullback. Of course, we're seeing a lot of momentum right now, so I wouldn't be forcing anything. But yeah, the bias is very bearish right now for myself. And I do expect lower prices. Aussie dollar. So Aussie dollar was looking to short last week. Did not give me a setup. And again, that's the power of waiting for entry confirmations. There will be times where you do have an opportunity, you're looking for it, looks good, ticks all your boxes. Now you're just waiting for entry confirmation to get into the trade, but you just don't get it, and it potentially saves you from taking an unnecessary loss, which is why patience and discipline is really important, because you're going to make sure that when you actually do take a loss, it's the loss you're supposed to take, not because you were too early to jump into the position. And it looks like Aussie dollar is trying to push high, and of course, with the DXY looking weak as well, I don't really want to be shorting the Aussie dollar right now. It looks to me that we found support over here, retested very well, and now price potentially is going to continue higher. Now, I'm not so keen to be buying Aussie dollar either. It's more so the short looked really good in terms of the market structure, where we're trading how corrective we've been to the upside. So it was only really a short or nothing for me for Aussie dollar. It's not like, okay, we've broken to the upside, let me try and buy this. It's not really an attractive buy. Yes, momentum's picked up, but this is still a very corrective structure as a whole. Looking at some other trends like pound, euro, dollar CAD even, a lot more aggressive nature. So I quite like what I'm seeing. Yes, Aussie dollar's probably still going to go higher because of the weakness with USD, but I'd rather look to trade dollar CAD or pound USD or even euro. Then Aussie is still quite choppy. Yes, momentum's picked up. So again, maybe intraday, some opportunities look good there. I spoke about the retest of this area yesterday. Perhaps another push down. That could be a nice place for a buy, or even a breaking retest of this area. But altogether, not the biggest fan of the price action for Aussie dollar. But yeah, I would stay in bullish. In terms of New Zealand dollar, again, bit of an awkward place for some buying opportunities, testing some former resistance supply. This is where we formed our last lower high before this move down. So again, do I really want to be looking to buy here? I know DXY is weak. Looks like we're seeing the USD pairs trend higher. So you would expect New Zealand dollar to join the party as well. But is it the best pair to be trading right now compared to like a pound, compared to maybe like a dollar CAD or even euro? Probably not, because we're not coming directly into supply here. We still do have bearish structure at play. Even if we do think this structure will eventually break and price will trend higher, it hasn't done that quite yet. So this is still an obstacle for price. We might still see a miniature sell-off before we do trend higher. It's not necessarily that price just has to explode right now, like maybe some of the other USD pairs are doing. So it's just in a bit of an awkward place for a buy. I think intraday, I actually wouldn't mind to see another move down and maybe a sweep of the low here, and then try and catch a buy here intraday, like hourly, 30-minute entry. This was a very strong area of demand. I believe this was CPI yesterday, not yesterday. I keep saying that. This was CPI last week. So really aggressive push down, strong push to the upside. Maybe even tapping into that area, that could be a nice place for a buy. So I think this is a nice intraday opportunity. Again, not necessarily looking for something crazy, but maybe a push to resistance. You're betting on basically this kind of bullish trend continuing, and you're looking to try and position yourself in a smart location to take advantage of that, whilst of course being aware that yes, we are in supply and resistance. Maybe price might have the bigger move, so yeah, I can still maybe take advantage of a bounce and still take profits near the high potentially. So I think intraday this could look good, especially with this move looking really corrective. It's not like we're steaming to the upside and there's a lot of momentum right now. This looks really corrective. So another push down, then some buys. I think that could be a nice opportunity, or just waiting for the break of structure, then some pullbacks. Then that becomes a much better opportunity, and the odds of us coming back to this high and then this high, will increase a lot. So depending on what you're looking at, there's opportunities there, but it's a bit awkward where we're trading right now. As for gold, flying to the upside like it's no tomorrow. Is just absolutely loving life right now. I mean, this becomes a nice area for a retest. Really clean break there yesterday. This becomes a nice consolidation. Just again, look for price to get back there, retest well. Hopefully find some trades on the retest of that for continuation. In terms of lower time frames, I don't think there's much to do right now. Looking a little bit corrective here, so I'll be a bit skeptical about buying here, especially after we've just created new highs just recently. So a pullback would be nice. You can probably even consolidate the focus more to this area. Nice range, exploded to the upside, come back to retest. I think that's a smart place for a buy. As long as the pullback is healthy, the entries are healthy, I do think that's where you want to be keeping your focus. And then, yeah, onwards and upwards. It looks like we're hitting 3,700 or about to anyway. So looks like the market is just ticking off these big prices one by one, and it's not really slowing down really. Beyond that, then you got 3750, which I think is a really big psychological level. You got 3K, 3250, 3500, 3750, then 4K. So 3750 is the midpoint between 3500 and 4K. So I think that's a pretty big psychological level, and that's maybe where we're headed towards before maybe the next big correction. Again, that's just me thinking out loud, but that would be a significant price to keep an eye on. And we're not too far away now. So yeah, momentum looks good. Buys still look the best bet. I would not be trying to sell gold at all. And silver, really interesting retest yesterday. We had the consolidation here, which again, price did break to the upside, in a similar fashion to gold. Really nice breakout. We came back for a retest there really quickly. Not really the characteristics I'm looking for when I'm looking for my pullbacks. Let's drop to the 15. Yeah, it was really aggressive, but hey, the retest performed very well, and we're back at highs again. So I would say if you're looking for more buying opportunities, I would wait to see if we can run back to the same low. Maybe come back to retest it, maybe wick through slightly. Altogether, still taking advantage of the retest of this range whilst coming back to lows, maybe taking out some early buyers. And of course, that could take you back to resistance and maybe even beyond that as well. But looking at the bigger picture for silver, it's still very, very bullish. I mean, this will still be a nice area for a pullback as well. If we do have that bigger pullback, I'll keep an eye on this zone. But yeah, it's just about timing those pullbacks, really. Not trying to do anything complicated, really, with silver or gold. The market's bullish. Let's take advantage of that momentum. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with USD for now. Just seeing a lot of weakness. Looks like gold and silver are enjoying that, and other USD pairs are moving, which is good. What's up, Malik? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. What's up, Khan? Welcome to the stream. Hope you are well. Yes, we can take a look at NAS. First, I just want to mention our Perps platform. If you haven't checked it out, the link is at the top of the chat. And I do have a video going through the platform itself, how to use it, how to get started. So check that out if you are new to it. But this is our Perps platform we've been working on for quite a while now. Allows you to trade multiple different cryptocurrencies, but other markets will be coming very soon. Forex, indices, commodities to the platform as well. But the beauty of the platform is that it's very easy to get started. You just need your Solana or crypto wallet. You can use your email if you don't have either, but if you do have a wallet, it'd be very handy. You can connect straight to the platform, begin trading straight away. There's no kind of process or restrictions. It's very easy to get started, and withdrawals are pretty much instant. All settlements are done instantly as well, so you don't have to request for a withdrawal. It's instantly. And again, as you would do with all the trading platforms you probably experience, you can buy, sell, manage your orders well, take profit, stop loss, market orders, stop orders. However you look to kind of trade and take advantage, you can scale in and scale out positions as well. So however you look to manage your trades, you can do that all and more. And there is some AI features to help improve and smoothen out your trading experience in terms of managing risk, in terms of formalizing setups on the 4-hour chart, risk sentiment, and just giving you some extra advice and a different perspective on the market to speed things up or just make things a bit easier. This AI tool will allow analysis of the bigger markets. The smaller markets, we don't have much data, so they wouldn't print necessary information. But the big markets like Ethereum, Bitcoin, Dodge, there's a lot of information there. And we'll be doing a competition on the platform as well. There is still availability, so if you are interested in participating in the challenge, there will be cash prizes for the competition. Again, it's just a bit of fun, nothing serious. So don't worry about it. It's just a bit of fun to get people using the platform, and again, there will be cash prizes for the best performing traders. So if you are interested, check it out. Drop your email in the Google form. But anyway, we've got a bunch of markets to go through. I'll go through my watch list as well. I will take a look at NAS 100 for Khan. Malik, 2 winning trades at the moment, USD and Aussie dollar. Nice. What are you doing with USD and Aussie dollar? I suppose you're buying Aussie dollar. Not too sure what you're doing. Are you buying USD as well? because I know USD has had a slight move to the upside. And we have come back from like major support levels, so I'd anticipate maybe you're buying USD too, but fill me in. Anyway, we'll start with NAS 100. So NAS 100, yeah, looking very, very bullish with this one. Absolutely flying to the upside. So there's not much to do here, really. Even if you scale to like a 5-minute chart, you know, the market is just really aggressively bullish. Unless you have like a strategy that really allows you to take advantage of aggressive trending markets, maybe like a tight moving average, like a 8 period or like a 7 period or maybe even below that, and just kind of looking for the smaller pool. Actually, let's get the moving average up. Let's get EMA, and let's go with like what is that? Is that a 9? Yeah, that's a 9. Let's go for 9. So if you have like a 9 period moving average here, because the pullbacks are so shallow, you could be looking to time pullbacks when price dips below the moving average and then buy it as soon as it comes back on, and potentially hold the trade for as long as price stays above. That would have been a really nice position. And of course, with the moving average, there will be a lot of fake signals here and there. But if you use a stop loss, let's say you exit the trade here, enter back there, stay back in the trade, maybe exit back over there, re-enter the trade here, might have got stopped out of that wick, depends how tight your stop loss was, re-enter there, probably a neutral trade, and so on and so forth. And that's really the type of strategy you need to try and trade the market, which is just steaming to the upside right now with not much of a pullback. So there's not really much to do. And again, this is the 5-minute chart as well. If you're looking for like an hourly chart, that's just bullish candle after bullish candle mostly. 4-hour chart, that's just quite overextended right now. So from a 4-hour perspective, I'll be waiting for a deeper pullback. Really, there's not much for me to do apart from just sit and admire the price action. Really nice double bottom at the low here, and prices run away. I quite like the idea for a retest of the high or a retest of this area for the next wave. So if the market can eventually topple out, I do like these areas to potentially position myself for another buy, with the expectation of another high or low forming and another push back to wherever we form that high. It looks like the next big psychological level will be 24,500, which again, not too far away from at the moment. We've got 25k up there, which is a pretty big round number. That could be interesting. But yeah, there's not much to speak about. It's not like we can look to the left and gauge what price is going to do, because we haven't been here before. There's nothing really to gauge apart from maybe momentum and maybe these significant price points, which we're heading towards at the moment. So yeah, very, very bullish with NAS. Like I said, if you're really intraday, there might be some small pullback techniques like using the moving average to take advantage of that momentum. If you're waiting for deeper pullbacks, like a retest of the prior high or a retest of this area, then you're going to have to be a bit patient and wait for that. That could take a week or two potentially to actually develop, because at the moment momentum is so strong. So not really seeing a tradable opportunity there, and I wouldn't be looking to short either, because who knows how far this can push up. There's not a lot of information that we can look at to base a solid short idea on when we're at all-time highs and momentum is really strong. So yeah, I don't see much opportunity there with NAS apart from waiting for a pullback to keep buying, or maybe some really short-term buy opportunities on like a 5-minute chart. What's up, Season Integrated? Welcome to the stream, my man. Hope you are well. Okay, Malik, we can take a look at those positions. Okay, yeah, you're long USD. Okay, nice. And long Aussie dollar, nice. Yeah, I would have thought so. Okay, we can take a look at those positions, no problem. Hey, what's up, Bashi? Appreciate it, my man. Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, drop a like, subscribe, share. All that good stuff does really help out, and I do really appreciate it as well. So if you are enjoying the stream, drop a like. Okay, let's take a look at those positions. We'll start with Euro NZD, and we take a look at Aussie. So, okay, looks like we're getting a bit of a bounce here for Euro NZD. We did mention where price is trading, a really nice level of resistance to our left, and also that that demand zone, which price consolidated with kind of twice before continuing. Looks like we've tapped into that, and of course, we do have the consistent uptrend in the higher time frame, so that's a natural confluence for the trade. But I did say watch out for areas as we come back into kind of this area, because I could see price maybe forming a lower high here and coming back down. 1, 2, 3, because we're just at really significant heights. So I wouldn't necessarily bet on a big trend continuation. I mean, the market could easily do that, but I would be very watchful. We just spiked through COVID highs not too long ago. I think generally the market could go through somewhat of a correction. So the buys look good as we did come back into an area of confluence here. We've seen some healthy reactions as well, but I would watch out around 1.985-ish for selling pressure to kick in. But yeah, you said you got an entry 1.96940. 1.96940. Okay, so around there. And then stops 96211. That's about there-ish. And targets 1.99563. That would be the high here, looks like it. Okay, yeah, not too bad. I mean, the risk reward looks good there. Probably maybe 1 to 3 almost, maybe, roughly. But yeah, I like the idea. Like I said, I would watch out as price comes into the 1.985 area. So that could be an area which maybe look at managing the trade in terms of removing risk. So if price does form that lower high, price comes down. Of course, I can't see into the future, so it's not like, okay, price will form a lower high here, because we might not. That's just an area where if I was looking to short USD, it would be somewhere here. So I'll be looking for signs that the market is about to roll over. And if that is the case, we could see a move down. So potentially removing risk could be a good idea in case we do that. That way, okay, if price does go and hit the highs, you don't sabotage your risk reward. But at the same time, if you do form a lower high, you can still walk away with maybe a small win, or at least not a losing position. So I would watch out around 1.95, but I do like the target, not looking for anything too extravagant, basically returning back to resistance and just below that big psychological level of 2. So I like the idea. Risk reward looks good, entry's good, stop loss in a safe place, coming from a strong area of support, demand. So I do like the idea. It's just as we approach these areas, I would be a bit more cautious. But momentum looks pretty good right now. Looks like we're kind of broken out of this inverse head and shoulder pattern, which probably be a bit more prominent on a lower time frame. But you can see the left, the head, the right shoulder, the break of that. Hopefully now we do start to trend higher. So I do like what I see there with your entity. It's just 1.985 could be a bit of an area to keep an eye on. In terms of Aussie dollar, let's take a look at that position as well. So long 0.66238. Let's move this out of the way. So 995, no, 0.66238. So I'll be around there. 65750. Oh, 65. Okay, I was reading that wrong. That's around there. And in terms of targets, 673. That would be there-ish. Okay, so looking pretty good there. How are you looking to manage this one? Because it's always a little bit interesting when you've caught a breakout, because essentially you've bought at the high as prices cleared it and continued. So you're betting on price continuing from this point. It's always a tricky one, because if you do have the pullbacks, that's when things get awkward. But at the moment, as long as price can stay above this level, so prior resistance, if we can hold that as support, the trade is looking good. Essentially, your entry's in that area. So as long as price doesn't break underneath this, you're looking good. If price does break underneath, that's where things get awkward. Could potentially even look to close the trade early if things are not going well in terms of momentum. But right now we are looking good. We had a successful retest over here. We are failing our highs a little bit, but I wouldn't be too worried about that. And targets, again, not too far away, 0.723. I think this is an area to watch out for, 0.66800 roughly. How come you've got targets at 0.673? Is there a particular confluence you've spotted there? Or is it in terms of risk to reward? I'm interested to know. But yeah, you've taken advantage of the breakout there. So as long as that stays broken out of, the trade is looking good. And I would say the idea is still valid and at play. And USD is looking pretty weak right now as well. So as long as DXY stays weak, you should have the market in your favor, which I think is the likely outcome there. So yeah, Aussie dollar looking good as well. Stay above 0.662. Should be in the green there. Hey, what's up, C Stream? Welcome to the stream. Bit of a tongue twister there. Hope you're doing good. Yes, we can take a look at gold. Hey, appreciate it, Bashi. Okay, 47 pips in Aussie, stops currently. Oh, okay, stops are currently at break even. Okay. Okay, cool. And also stops anyways. Pips looking to trade risk off. Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean, in that case, fine. You've managed the risk pretty well. Let's see if momentum can continue. Because when you are taking these type of trades, when you're kind of betting on price breaking and continuing through a level, you don't want to see price break back below, because that just defeats the purpose. So, you know, once you do see some continuation, even moving your stops there will be a safe bet in terms of managing the risk and the idea in general. Because, like I said, if it does break below, the idea is kind of not playing out anymore. So, with USD looking as weak as it is right now, I do think the odds are definitely in the favor. I don't think Aussie's that strong right now. It has been pretty strong. Looks like it's tiring a little bit. But seeing the weak dollar there should keep the market in your favor. I still think dollar's got a lot more room to fall. So, you know, that should help the trade out. I don't see dollar suddenly becoming bullish here. Maybe a pullback, yeah, sure, that could happen. But I do think price is likely to fall. Okay, LFTJ, yep, we can take a look at Euro Aussie and Pound Aussie. First, I'll go through gold for C Stream and Pound USD and Pound CAD as well. What's up, Dino? Good morning. Hope you're well. Risk reward. Okay, cool. Also bank on DXY weakness. Yeah, it looks like we are getting that. So I think that's definitely a safe bet. I don't see DXY suddenly becoming strong now, especially with these lower highs with the break of the structure. Yeah, we might see a pullback. We might see a bit of upside because of that, but I don't see us reversing. Good morning, Yusuf. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. I'm doing good. Thoughts Euro G15, sure thing. We'll take a look. First, let me go through gold. So with gold, yeah, very, very bullish stuff here. Lovely breakout yesterday. Was looking for another move down, but looks like gold just wasn't having any of that. I said another move back to the lows and then maybe we buy, but nah, price just consolidated and ripped to the upside, but it has left behind a nice area for a buy intraday. I like this kind of miniature consolidation, really aggressive rip to the upside. Should price come back and retest that, 36.55, I think that's a really effective place to position yourself long for the next swing. We're about to approach 3700, which is the next big psychological level. I've talked about 3750, which is not too far away. That'll be the next big one. Yeah, if you can find a pullback before that, I think that'll be great. And at least some intraday pulls, intraday buys back to the high, and maybe we can hold to some new highs too. But yeah, gold's very, very bullish right now. Wouldn't be trying to force any shorts or any short opportunities. Don't really make sense at this moment in time. Way too aggressive. But if you find some buys, I like this area here. I think that'll be a smart place for a long. But extremely bullish. We are tiring a little bit, so I wouldn't necessarily be looking to jump into buys now. But if we can get a pullback, things do look good. So yeah, onwards and upwards for gold. No need to overcomplicate it there. Euro Aussie. So this one again having a slight bounce, similar to its partner in crime, UNZD. But I'm pretty bearish on Euro Aussie. I'm looking to sell this one. We did actually break structure, which is what put me bearish. The price did go and break through this low, which technically did give us this high. And to me, that's not a bullish pattern. Price is breaking structure, and it's very tired as well. We didn't really get like a clean uptrend here. This is a really tired corrective looking trend, so I don't anticipate this trend to continue, and especially with the break of structure now, I'm looking for a lower high and more downside. So my focus really is on this consolidation here, looking for price to return back to this area, reject well, then I'm looking for a continuation. So this bullish move I'm anticipating to be a pullback, and the plan very much is finding that lower high, perhaps on the retest of this range, then betting on price continuing lower. Longer term, I do think Euro Aussie is likely to come back to support. Yes, we do have a bullish trend and price has been trending pretty well, but I don't see us continuing back to highs here. If we were, I would expect this bullish move to have continued somewhat. But this is a really corrective move. It looks like we formed a bit of a double top here. Now we're breaking structure. This consolidation could provide significant resistance for us to continue lower. So yeah, I am pretty bearish on Euro Aussie. Not yet though. We need to get back to that level, 1.785, and then of course see how we react and then see the entry confirmations available. But yeah, I do expect more downside for this pair. In terms of Pound Aussie, you mentioned as well. Pound Aussie, I'm looking at downside too, but again, the breakout isn't clear cut. This is our consolidation roughly, and price has just managed to break to the downside of that, but it's not like an explosion to the downside. Price has seen a bearish day or two below the low, but it's nothing where I'm looking for a breaking retest yet. I mentioned Pound Aussie yesterday. I said I want to see a bit more conviction lower before I do start to look for shorts, because I could easily see price climb back within that range and then potentially the buys become the better bet. And yeah, if that's the case, I don't want to be jumping into the market too early. So with Pound Aussie, it just is a ranging market, and it just is what price does here will dictate my bias. If this is a fake out, then of course I would have a pretty bullish bias after that, waiting for price to come back above support and looking for buys on the retest. If this is a genuine breakout, then I do want to see more downside, and then the plan will be looking for pullbacks along the way. I'm expecting price to come back and test areas down here. There's a big psychological level at 2. I do think price will be likely drawn to those areas in due course, but I'm not too sure if this is a legit breakout yet, or if this is price potentially having a fake out. It's not clear. It's not high quality. Yeah, sure, it is a breakout technically, but I wouldn't be the first person to try and jump into short that. Just not seeing much conviction. The market's a little bit tired as well. Really continuous bearish move from the highs here. I wouldn't be surprised if we do start to climb back within the range. So yeah, Pound Aussie need a bit more information. I need to see what price, if it can sustain this move a little bit more, or if it does climb back in the range. And that will give me 2 different biases going to the rest of the week and potentially even into next week as well. So Euro Aussie, I like what I see. I kind of got a clear plan for that one. Pound Aussie, sure, potentially could be looking good soon. But Euro Aussie, I have a setup. I have something I'm interested in. And yeah, kind of waiting for the pullbacks into that area. Pound USD, Pound CAD, we shall take a look as well. And we'll go through Euro and GU15 for Yusuf. All right, take care, Malik. We'll catch you tomorrow. Hopefully, positions do play out. Hey, appreciate it, Malik. Please do drop a like, subscribe. Does really help out. If you join the stream, do show some love. But appreciate it, man. We'll catch you tomorrow. Dino waiting for Pound USD pullback at 1.3588. Okay, I can confirm that for you. I'll look at Pound USD and Pound CAD next. And whilst I'm on Pound USD, I might as well drop to the 15 as well. So yeah, Pound USD looking really bullish. The key thing we've been waiting for is the break of this resistance, which we have finally got since yesterday. Strong candle break there, and now we're seeing conviction. So For me not to be bullish on pound USD, for me to change my bias, price does need to come crashing back down below this level. So as long as we don't do that, I'm very bullish. We've just seen the DXY. That looks like it's falling out the sky. It looks like it's still got room to move into, back to these lows here. So I think the dollar is still likely to keep falling. And as a result, pound USD probably still will keep pushing higher, especially since we've taken out key resistance. So the next big target for pound would be the high here. So the plan is just looking for pullbacks and continuations. We've got resistance here, which we've just broken out of. That naturally will become support here as well. If I drop to the 15-minute chart, that could be an interesting area for a pullback into. At the moment, the market is in kind of full motion right now, steaming to the upside. So I do want us to start to form a more complex pullback at some point. And hopefully some buyers could present after that. I'm actually quite interested in some opportunities here for pound USD. But yeah, it's a very bullish market right now, breaking major resistance, successful break and retest actually, even the lower time frames there. And now we've continued since then. So the plan is basically finding the next higher low after that to continue this trend. So I'll be looking more so around 1.36100, 36161, roughly around there for some buying opportunities. You mentioned 1.3. 1.3588. Where is that? Okay, so you're looking for the retest. Yeah, I mean, that would also be a good place for a retest as well. That will also be a good place as well. Because, of course, that would be the retest of the resistance. So, yeah, I would keep an eye on that too. This is more of an intraday, like 15, even 5-minute. You might be able to get away with some decent positions there. This is a nice opportunity as well. This I would be looking at like an hourly or a full hour chart really for entries, because it's more like a full hour hourly level. So I'll try and keep it consistent with the time frame I'm entering on as well. But yeah, a retest of that would be great too. So you're definitely right to pinpoint that out and keep an eye on that, because like I said, if price was to break below, well, then that wouldn't really be an opportunity I would be too interested in, to be honest. So yeah, pound USD showing a lot of conviction there. I like the momentum. Stay above. I do think we are likely to continue further. As for pound CAD, we're seeing similar signs, but we are struggling. Pound CAD and pound USD do tend to move the same, but I would still argue that pound CAD is still stuck in resistance here at 1.875. So difficult to really gauge what the next move is going to be. I kind of do expect us to break high in a similar fashion to what pound USD is doing. I don't see a situation where pound CAD is pushing down and pound USD is pushing up. Maybe if CAD is doing something crazy, that could happen, but there's a likeliness of those two currency pairs to move alike. So I do think we are likely to break higher. Yes, we did find some wicks, and we are looking like we are rejecting the highs here. But as we drop to the 4-hour chart, there's no kind of opportunity here. You know, this strong move down just rejected support very well. So that's not really showing us much conviction from the sellers. Maybe if we were to see a strong break here, okay, that's something interesting we can follow. Something like we did over here. We formed a nice consolidation and actually came back for a really nice retest of that. And that was a really aggressive sell opportunity. Maybe something similar to that forms. There could be a nice short there too. But also we have to factor in that this is still counter trend. You know, the trend on the higher time frames is still very much up. And we're still seeing conviction there to the upside. So I'll be very cautious with that, with pound CAD. So yeah, for that reason, I kind of do expect price to push higher. And if we do push higher, let's say if we do see a strong close to the upside, then the plan is simple. As long as we stay above this, it becomes support. Now we're looking for buying opportunities above that level. I would argue pound USD just looks a lot cleaner, so I'd rather focus my attention on pound USD rather than pound CAD. But again, with this one as well, strong breakout. Buys do look good, then we can probably see some more upside there as well. Yeah, we can take a look at UJ, GJ, and AC as well. Bashi. No, not VAT registered. CEO, yes, but not VAT registered. Okay, Yusuf in a buy position on AC. Okay, we can take a look. What's she taking the rate cut likely or not? I know you can't tell for sure, but just your thought. I mean, well, if we do cut rates, which I kind of expect to happen, then I'm looking for that bias of USD weakness to continue. I do think at the moment USD becoming strong is a bit unrealistic. So my initial thoughts, initial guess is USD weakness continuing. Already seeing that coming into the market, which is, I don't know. I kind of would have wanted us to maybe consolidate, and then when the news comes out, we see the weakness come in. That would be nice, because things can get awkward when things are already kind of printing in, because maybe people are already anticipating USD to become weak, and they're of course aggressively short in the market. And sometimes the news will come out and it'll give you the opposite to that. In terms of the reaction, maybe the result will still be the same in terms of the outcome of the news release, but maybe the reaction to the market sometimes the opposite. Then maybe it might correct itself later on. It would have been nice if things were still a bit flat, then the news comes out, and then you're just looking for pullbacks of that momentum. But yeah, my initial thoughts are still, I'm expecting weakness, really, to be honest. Wait, what day is it today? Okay, so it's Wednesday. It's Tuesday. I thought it was Wednesday today. I thought the rates were today. I was about to say, what the hell? But no, it's tomorrow. But yeah, that's kind of my initial thoughts on it. Anywho, we can go through Euro on the 15, UJ, and Aussie CAD for Yusuf. Again, if you guys have any requests, drop it in the chat. How come, Bashi? What's up? Okay, let's take a look at Euro. So Euro on the 15, similar situation. Oh, wow, look at that. Euro's just picked up some strength there and is absolutely flying. So yeah, Euro's looking pretty good right now, unless you're in a position, you're kind of crying out for a pullback right now for Euro. Otherwise, it's a bit difficult to take advantage of what price is doing, because it's looking really, really bullish right now. So you're going to need a pullback into market structure. Even something like this could look interesting, but I probably would drop to like a 5-minute chart to trade that. I think 15, you might sabotage the risk to reward a little bit with entries on 15 there. I think maybe 5-minute might find a better entry and a better risk reward opportunity. So yeah, what I'm seeing with Euro is a really aggressive trend. Momentum looks really strong. I do think price is likely to smash into highs and take them out. USD is looking really weak. Euro is looking strong. We've seen the continuous higher lows kind of become victorious, breaking out of the range to the upside. I don't see this slowing down at all. And once we do take out highs, that's when I'll become a little bit less opinionated about Euro USD, because now it's kind of, okay, what's the next move? Are we going to continuously rip to the upside? Is that trend really going to pick up? Maybe we spent all this time consolidating to really pick up steam, or is it now that we've taken out the high, now price starts to trend bearish again and starts to go for a bigger correction? Maybe the uptrend starts to tire. My bias could shift quite a lot once that is done. So when these highs are taken out, that's when I'll start to backtrack a little bit. I won't become bearish, but I wouldn't actively looking to buy the market right now, especially when we're taking out significant highs in this manner here. So yeah, Euro bullish. Maybe there might be some last minute pullbacks before we take out the high. Once we take out the high, that's when I'm stepping back a little bit. Yes, the market's still going to be bullish, but that's when pullbacks coming into play. Maybe a lot of profit taking happens. So you need to be a bit watchful of that. Same thing with pound USD as well, which is why I like pound USD, because we're not really near the major highs yet. There's still a lot of distance to trade. There's still a lot of distance to travel. So if you do find a nice pullback, the risk to reward opportunity should still look really good. And it's still a while before we do take out highs. But again, when pound USD eventually does that, I'll start to back away from pound, knowing that, okay, maybe another correction happens. or maybe we do rip to the upside and the trend does pick up, but then let me at least gauge it first and then wait for the next pullback and then maybe look for opportunities later on. But I wouldn't want to be the first person trying to buy as soon as major highs are taken out. And that goes for euro as well. So yeah, keep an eye on those areas for pullbacks. I like the consolidation here. That would be a nice area on a 50-minute chart to pull back into, but it may be asking a bit too much. This looks good as well, but that's more 5-minute. But yeah, I think we're very likely to take out highs now at 1.183. Okay, so we'll take a look at UJ next, and then we'll go through Aussie CAD. Okay, you're in a buy position on Aussie CAD. Okay, we can take a look at that as well. Oh, okay. Yeah, I wouldn't I wouldn't know where to go for that. Yusuf, I thought I was the only one who get the days mixed up. Nah, I do get days mixed up as well, a lot of the time too. Especially in the midweek section. Tuesdays become Wednesdays, Wednesdays become Tuesdays, Thursdays become Wednesdays. Monday and Friday I normally get right. But the midweek, that could be any day. Okay, let me take a look at UJ. Okay, so dollar yen. Lovely consolidation, lovely. So you can see how weak the DXY is and how price is falling really aggressively, but dollar yen isn't really showing that, and that's because, of course, yen is probably equally as weak at the moment. Hence, we're getting a bit of a wick to the downside there. But I still stand by the buys for dollar yen. I am still remotely bullish on the yen pairs. I do think that is still the likely move. So I'm still actively trying to buy a few of the yen pairs, dollar yen, CAD yen, euro, and Swiss yen are the yen pairs I do like, and we can go through them shortly. But in terms of a good buy opportunity for myself for dollar yen, I am looking for a push into the lows of the range and some buys in and around that area. Especially want price to take out the low. Maybe a nice aggressive wick and then close back above. That's something I'm looking for. Because again, if I zoom out to the daily chart, we do have an uptrending market here. We are still seeing higher highs and higher lows. And this is, some type of channel that the market is trending in. So I do like the buys. I do like what we're seeing here. But yeah, I do need price to move back into that area for an opportunity. And again, keeping things simple, maybe price does swing back to highs, but all I will try and bet on is a push back to this resistance at the very least, which I think is a reasonable expectation. And then maybe we do take advantage of a breakout and maybe price does get back to highs. Or maybe price does fade at the range high and melts off. We can probably look in lock in some partials there. And at the very least, trail stops. So if price does go against that trade, we can still walk away with at least a break even. So yeah, with dollar yen, I like the buys here at 146 roughly. So from a 4-hour perspective, that's what I'm looking at. As for like a 50-minute chart, this looks absolutely horrendous, really. So I wouldn't really look to do anything here. I know price is just breaking structure to the downside recently. Would I be looking for a pullback and a retest of this area? No, just because of the conditions. This is not really, it's not the setup is bad. It's not that price is pulling back to an prior support, which could be turn resistance. It's looking like an area of supply. Price very much could pull back here, form a low high, continue lower. But because of the choppy nature of conditions, the fact that we've found a lot of support in this area, you can see the amount of rejection we've seen in this area. Price could very much snap into here and aggressively switch directions. So because of that, I would be very cautious selling dollar yen in this area and very cautious buying as well. So I don't see much opportunity in this area of the market because of the conditions. Again, I want to be focusing at the highs where I've seen obvious rejections and at the lows where, again, I've seen obvious rejections. And if I can get a buy there or get a sell there or wait for breakouts even, I know that I'm positioning myself in the best possible way to take advantage of these conditions. Anything in the middle is obviously going to be a lot difficult. I'm not saying you won't be able to find a winning trade, but I wouldn't be looking for consistent opportunities in this area. I think your win rate will suffer because of that. So yeah, dollar yen, not seeing much opportunity on an intraday chart, but at the lows there, I think there's opportunity. And again, likewise, if you're looking for buys, I would still wait even for a push there, even on the 15-minute chart too. I'm looking for entries on the 4-hour, but you could probably find some entries on the 15 and still take advantage of a similar move. But in the middle there, very, very noisy, very, very noisy. And as for Aussie CAD, so this one was talking about some buys yesterday. The buys didn't play out really to the manner which I was looking for them to play out, because I talked about this demand zone here, and I said if price can maybe sweep the lows here, come back and retest this area, this could be a smart place for a buy, and then see momentum pick up. Somewhat of like a bull flag here. If I clone that, bring that down there. So there's your impulse. That was from CPI last week. There's your first correction. There's your second correction. Coming back to test the demand zone. This is where I expect buyers to come in and potentially take us back to the upper end of the range. Unfortunately, didn't really see that momentum kick in. Yes, slight rejections there, but the momentum has fallen off and kind of flat right now. I think this is just because Aussie CAD might be reaching a bit of a top. The market has been very, very bullish, and again, we don't often do this for Aussie CAD, so you have to be a bit cautious with that. It's not a pair that tends to explode and sees momentum sustain. We might have some sharp moves here and there, but we're very quick to retrace and have deeper pullbacks. Just look at the market there. There's a lot of up and down, so be prepared. Once a big move happens, we do tend to retrace. And that's an advantage as well. Knowing that information means you can look for those bigger pullbacks. So Aussie CAD with this move here, it might just be prices forming a top. Yes, I think your best play is still looking for buys on the 15-minute chart. But if we were going to start to bleed and especially take out lows here, yeah, I wouldn't be looking to buy anymore. I think a bigger correction will be happening. And let's say if we do get an up move this afternoon, I think looking for sells around here could still be a smart move as well. I know it's a bit more aggressive, you're going against the trend, but knowing the conditions of Aussie CAD, trying to see, okay, maybe a lower high does form here, I think that's a smart trade. The market's quite overextended. We're seeing lower highs coming to play now. I think that's a smart trade as well. So yeah, if we do go and break structure, that's a clear sign sellers are stepping into the market. Probably going to have a bigger pullback. I've talked about maybe the retest. If we go to the daily chart, we could be looking at the retest of the high here, or maybe a retest of the area here. Either which way, these could be some really nice places for some buys in the near future, because I do expect Aussie CAD to continue to trend higher. I do expect us to eventually get back to the highs there at 0.3554. So that's where I'm expecting Aussie CAD to head towards. But maybe it's just a time that we're going to pull back, see a bit of downside, which again is an opportunity to find some buys to participate in that move. So I'm actually getting a bit more interested with Aussie CAD because I like the pair, I like the explosion we've had. I haven't really added to my watch list yet because the pullbacks just haven't been big enough on the time frames I'm looking at. Not necessarily like a 50-minute chart, but like a 4-hour. It hasn't been big enough, so I haven't really been interested in the price action. But if we do start to break structure, like we mentioned there, if this low does start to get taken out, well, I do think we're going for our retracement now, and then that's when I'll start to pay a bit more attention to price. But 50-minute chart buys here, they look okay. I would have wanted price to react a bit quicker and already seen a conviction higher. In fact, we've tapped into the levels, didn't see much, and now we're kind of just looking a little bit lacklustered. I do worry about the buys there, in all honesty, but we'll see what happens as long as this zone is still holding. The buys are still valid. But yeah, if we do break lower, yeah, of course, as long as you manage your risk, there's no harm in taking a loss. And if price does take out that low, then I would be pausing that bullish bias for now. And if we do rally to highs, you can profit on that move. And if things are looking like a low high is forming, potentially profit on the move back down too. But yeah, that's kind of my take on Aussie CAD. Very bullish. I do think more upside is likely to come. But I would be a little bit cautious now. I do think we're a little bit overextended. And I'll look at GJ next. I don't think I've missed out a pair someone has mentioned. No, I don't think so. Okay, so we'll go take a look at GJ. Okay, so pound yen, interesting. Let me quickly take a look at the yen basket. Now go back to pound yen. Yeah, not much to report on really with the yen. Still stuck in this range here. Yeah, not too sure here. I mean, I would still stay on bearish because of course we do have this long-standing trend. But until we do see price show some conviction, either outside the range to the upside or outside the range to the downside, direction is a little bit hard to really anticipate. I mean, I would say I'm bearish. You know, we've been really consistent with the low highs. The trend line has acted as resistance in numerous occasions right now and respected it really well. So I would favor us to continue lower, but we still got support we have to break through, which is why I wouldn't get too excited because we could still very much bounce here and see price push up. So I would still say yen is still a little bit up in the air, but yeah, we are weak. We have been trending lower. If we do break support here, we should see a push back to 6,100, maybe pierce that and hit 6K as well. But that break of support is needed. I think that's probably what pound yen is waiting for, because if you look at it, pound yen looks like it's trying to break to the upside as well. Yeah, I pointed yesterday. Was it yesterday or was it? Must have been yesterday. But I pointed out yesterday how consistent price has been with these higher lows. Very consistent with all these higher lows here. And it looks to me that price is just steadily picking up momentum and maybe getting ready for a break to the upside. And if that's the case, then you're going to need some yen weakness. And maybe the yen basket breaking that support level we just mentioned is what's going to be the big factor. Because, of course, they're inversely correlated. If the yen basket's heading down, that means the yen is weak against other major currencies like pound itself. So if we do see the yen basket break support, that might give pound yen the energy it needs to actually see price do something like that. And then the buys become pretty simple, looking for pullbacks and more opportunities to the upside, because then we're above major resistance here as well. And if I expand to the weekly chart, I can get a better overview of everything. At this point, it looks like this resistance is broken. So we've broken out of here. The next targets become here. So, you know, keeping things simple, one level breaks. Let's see if the price is going to break back below that same level or it's going to achieve the next level. It's literally 50-50 here. Price will eventually do one of those two things. It will either go and hit the next level or break back underneath. And as long as price doesn't break underneath, well, we're expecting price to make that move. And that's what my expectations would be, especially considering the fact we've been in a long-standing uptrend. So I do think the emphasis is still with the buyers. And a strong break of this resistance level, similar to pound, I do think will just take us back into resistance at 207. So with pound yen, just waiting for that kind of clear-cut breakout, which is still not quite here yet. We're still seeing a lack of momentum, and we can still easily see sellers really push through. So yeah, pound yen in terms of the 15-minute chart. In terms of the 15, I would still be trying to actively find some buys, to be honest. I think that would still be the smart play on the 15. I know that we're at resistance, but you do have a pretty consistent uptrend. We mentioned all the higher lows, and you can see how consistent we are with them. So all you're looking to try and do is trying to find the next one, which looks like it's already printed, to be honest. When was that? That was around 8 o'clock in the morning there. So looks like price has swept the lows there, giving us some type of bull flag opportunity here. If I clone that, bring that to the low, you can see first drop, second drop, there's your buy opportunity, and price is now seeing a nice rally back into supply. So now this is where you probably start to manage the trade and be a bit cautious, because we know that we're still in resistance. We haven't really broken out yet. So this could still be an area which does push price against you. So that would be a smart area to maybe lock in some gains or maybe trade a stop or something. And then, of course, if price can break through that, happy days. You're probably going to get price to highs, maybe new highs as well. Maybe you do catch the breakout. but a very consistent uptrend. In terms of pound yen, this is really where you're going to get into a buy. Maybe if price does have one more down move, there might be a double bottom opportunity at the lows to consider. And again, maybe from there we do see the continuation. At no point do you want to see price break structure. So take out this low here. If price does that, then things get a little bit awkward. Maybe price isn't going to break out, and maybe we do see price react and trend lower. And then we'll kind of just come back into this range, and then things things really look awkward at that point. So from a 15-minute perspective, trying to take advantage of that momentum. If you're not already in a position here, you're kind of looking for price to push down all the time again, and then see if you can jump into a position. Yeah, expectation we hopefully a breakout we can catch and see some more highs after that. But yeah, pound yen I will be bullish. Like I said, I'm bullish on quite a lot of the USD, not USD pairs, bullish on a lot of the yen pairs, just kind of lacking opportunities to trade them at the moment. I spoke about euro yen. I quite like what I'm seeing with euro yen, just lacking opportunity to find an entry. I said if you can have another push down into the low here, I would be very happy to find some buying opportunities. You're looking for the next test of this trend line, first, second, third, an entry at that low there. Smart place for a stop loss as well, with the expectation of a push right into the highs. And if we can break through that, a push into these swing highs as well, around 175.3. That's where I do think price can get to eventually as well. So I like what I'm seeing with euro yen, still seeing a lot of momentum. I do think price is likely to see that breakout, and this is really where I do want to position myself. If price kind of just continues into resistance, I don't see much opportunity there. Maybe if I dropped like a 15-minute chart. I mean, there's been some nice pullbacks, nice kind of flag pattern there, push to the upside, dip there, another push to the upside. So there could be another sort of correction that does develop here, and that could be a nice opportunity on the 15, but I wouldn't be looking at this like a full hour chart. On a full hour time frame, this looks good to me. This might provide some opportunities, and again, that's probably the more realistic opportunity, to be honest. I'm not too sure if we do see euro yen have that down move, but yeah, trajectory do see more upside. CAD yen has been another yen pair I've really liked. Again, just lacking the entries to actually take this one. I've been looking for a run back into lows here, price to sweep the lows and then the buy. I'm looking at basically the continuation of this uptrend. We've seen consistent higher highs and higher lows, and I do think price has a good chance of making it back to the high. So if I can position myself here, well, I do think I'm in the best place possible to take advantage of that trend if it does continue, because I'm right at the lows, healthy stop loss, back into areas of demand, probably a push back into resistance as my first target. I can manage the trade from there, and if things go very well, maybe I do swing it back to highs. Trying to find a trade here in the middle of things where fluctuation and a lot of noise is located. I might get caught on the wrong side and wicked out. So I don't really want to do anything in the middle here. And of course, this would be like my first target. But drop into a 15 chart. Looks like we've had another dip. Price come back into a nice area of demand there. Had a really strong reaction. Maybe another swing into the low there. As long as we don't break through this low, that could be a nice trade in the 15, because again, you've got that continuous nature of these higher lows, and you're kind of looking for the next one. I mean, maybe price has already printed it in. Maybe we do continue, but another move down, I think that'll be a smart place for a buy, and a swing back to highs can make sense. Maybe do see a push to resistance, but it would be nice to see a push down into the lows here and then take the buy. And especially because this looks really corrective to me as well. So another drop, take out some early buys, reject well, then push up. That'll be a nice swing trade. But yeah, just not too sure if we see that. But I do like CAD yen buys, euro yen buys, dollar yen buys, and Swiss yen buys. This one's probably the more bullish out of all of them. Actually, Swiss yen buys probably not looking as good anymore, because we're about to come back into highs. The plan I was hoping for this week was, I think we were trading around here, was one more push down first, and then the buy again. Very similar opportunity in all of them, really. But they all look good. Momentums look good. Of course, Swiss yen's at all-time highs as well. But I was looking for entries in and around that area. We do drop to the 15. Yeah, maybe if we have like a last-minute pullback, maybe it could be something that does develop. But not looking that clean. As for the 4-hour chart, I think that ship has sailed. I don't see price having. I mean, it could do. It could do. I don't want to rule it out. But I don't see if price can make that push back down. But yeah, yen pairs, momentum still with the buyers for now. And especially if the yen basket can break support, I think that's going to be some big moves there. No problem, Yusuf. Happy to help. What's up, D-Mart? Welcome to the stream. Hope you are doing good. We've got a lot of news this week. This afternoon, we've got CAD CPI. And I think tomorrow's the big day. Tomorrow we've got CPI Euro, CAD interest rate, and dollar interest rate. And then I think Friday we've got something. We've got yen interest rate. Yeah. Wait. Or am I seeing things? Am I seeing things? I'm pretty sure we had yen interest rate this week. Wednesday, no. Thursday, no. Friday, yeah, okay, Friday we do. Yeah, Friday, yen interest rate, 4 a.m. So yeah, we've got a bunch of interest rate decisions, yen, CAD, dollar, and pound. Forgot about pound on Thursday too. So you got pound interest rates. You've got pound interest rate on Thursday. You got dollar and CAD on Wednesday, and then of course Friday yen. So probably no matter what currencies you're actually looking to trade this week, there's definitely something to keep an eye on. Are you streaming FOMC? That should be fun. Friday for Friday for yen, Thursday for GB. Yeah, I appreciate it, Bashi. Man, I was just seeing double there on my calendar. I just wasn't getting any information there. That was happening. But yeah, a lot of big events coming out. So again, especially intraday, you want to make sure you do position yourself around that. The last thing you want to do is be oblivious and just open a trade and suddenly you see price move 50 pips in a few minutes. And you're like, okay, what's happened there? Yeah, make sure you do stay aware of this. Even on the 4-hour chart with bigger stop losses, even I will stay aware of those events. I mean, I wouldn't be looking to exit a trade quickly because of that. Because again, if I do exit every trade where there's a big news event, I probably wouldn't get too far, but I still would be very cautious with those events. But yeah, appreciate it, Bashi. Stressing, man, about this passport. What do you need it for? Are you trying to open a company in the UK? Is that we need the passport? I'm going to quickly go through my watch list for the rest of the week. I went through the yen pairs I'm interested in, but there's still a few others. And also, I'm going to be doing, experimenting with taking a few positions a week on a 50-minute and hourly chart as well. Predominantly, I do spend most of my time on the 4-hour, taking entries on the 4-hour chart. But I'm going to be trying to see how things go with a 50-minute and an hourly time frame purely just on the USD major pairs. So I'm going to be trying that out, slowly testing out, see how that does play in addition to the full hour, because full hour is still my bread and butter. But I do want to experiment with the 15 and the hourly chart. I've already traded the hourly chart for years, so I'm very comfortable with that. But for the past 2.5 or 2 years, I've been focusing more on the full hour. But I'm going to see if I can embed the hourly chart in the 15. I do trade a lot of pairs, so it's not going to be a situation where I trade the hourly and the 15 across all the pairs I look at, because that's just way too much information for me to digest. But for the USD majors, I might be able to squeeze that in. If not, maybe 2 or 3 of the USD majors I might select with. But I mean, trying that out a little bit more, and some opportunities on the USD pairs have become interesting, especially on the 50-minute chart intraday positions. The only thing is I have to be a bit more aware with news events as well, because I do have the luxury of the full hour chart being a bit more relaxed. The only events I'm worried about is the interest rate decision, CPI, NFP. And again, those are not very common, but you do get the smaller events which can still impact the market. And especially if you're trading on a 50-minute chart with small stop loss, you are a bit more at risk there. So I do have to be a bit more attentive with the news, which is something I'm going to have to build up a habit again, because with the full hour I've been a bit more laid back. But yeah, I'm going to have to focus on that a bit more. But yeah, I'm going to document that because it's going to be an interesting process. And of course, see the dynamic as well, because most people, either swing traders or day traders, very few people kind of multitask with the two, because it can be a little bit awkward. But I'm going to experiment and see how it is. Oh, KYC. Oh, damn. Can't you use like a driving license or something like that? A driving license should be valid ID, I'm pretty sure. Elevating Trade will accept driving license. I appreciate it, Bashi. Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the stream or find it useful, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe. It does really help out. That's the spirit, Dima. It will work out. What's up, Lighton? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Just a type frame. Legit person. I don't know what that does that even mean. You're a legit person. The government recognizes. That's the hard part. Yeah, but doesn't the government recognize anyone with ID? Like, you don't need to be VAT registered to be someone that the government recognizes, do you? I think anyone with a valid ID should, or valid passport in that case, should suffice, no? Oh, only passport, okay. Interesting. Because I've seen a lot of prop firms, including elevating traders, driving license, will normally suffice. Lighter, what's the buzz in Aussie dollar? Okay, we can take a look at Aussie as well. Okay, they only accept passport and person ID card, not driving license. Interesting. Yes, LFTJ, elevating traders. Passport, driving license will suffice with elevating traders, as with most prop firms, I'm pretty sure. Of that, I'm aware of anyway. But yeah, only passport. Do you not have a valid passport? I mean, normally you can get a passport in like a month, not a month. Actually, I don't know. It can be actually quite time consuming to get a new passport, especially if it's expired as well. Maybe if you fast track, it might be like a couple of weeks, maybe. Depends how much time you have. Let's take a quick look at Aussie dollar. So yeah, Aussie dollar broke to the upside, is looking really, well, I was about to say it's looking really bullish. It's not really looking very bullish. It is definitely bullish. DXY is the key factor here, which is absolutely tanking at the moment. And looking like this one is set to make a push back to lows and maybe new lows as well. So DXY, I do bet on more downside here. So I'm pretty bearish on USD. So by default, that would make me pretty bullish on Aussie, expecting more upside there. In terms of opportunities, I don't mind some buys here for a retest. Of course, this has, this was significant resistance. Now it will be turned support. I do think this will be an area which price can buy and see opportunities from. So I don't mind that for an opportunity there for Aussie dollar. But the market's quite tight, so I'm not really attracted to buying Aussie dollar, really. Other USD pairs look better, pound, dollar CAD, even euro somewhat. Dollar CHF looks better as well. I would say that Aussie dollar, if I look at the bigger picture, looks quite tired to me. So I'm not the biggest fan of what I'm seeing here with Aussie dollar. It looks like a really tired market. So I'm not so interested about continuously looking to buy this one, especially after we take up major highs like this, where it could get a little bit choppy as maybe some buyers look to exit positions. So yeah, Aussie dollar, I think if you keep this intraday, keep this lower time frame, you might find some nice buys, just taking advantage of that momentum. As we saw, USD is looking pretty weak as well, which is probably likely to continue. So you can probably use that to advantage. So I would suggest any pullbacks into here with some healthy rejections could be a nice buy. But again, I wouldn't be looking for a big explosion or big trends. It may happen, but the market just looks really tired to me. And it really has had a pretty decent move to the upside as well. So Aussie, I would be bullish. We've just taken up major highs, so it's a bit of a sensitive area. If you can get a pullback to here, maybe a nice double bottom could be a good play. Let's see how we get there first and how we react before we do judge that. But as things stand, it does look like a nice area for a buy. And then I would suggest a push back to highs. That could be a nice area to call it quits, or at least manage the trade somehow. Trading stops or some partials. But yeah, it's not the best trending market to keep buying right now. That's the main takeaway. Dollar CAD looks a lot healthier. Pound looks a lot healthier as well. So I'd rather look to take advantage of those currency pairs, which again are still USD pairs, but looks like the price action just a bit better. So yeah, that's Aussie dollar for you. Okay, yep. Okay, dollar CAD lighting, we can take a look as well. Hey, what's up, old golden bones from the States? Hope you're doing good. Lemon lime tea this morning. Okay, I like that. Can't say I've had a lemon and lime tea before. I've had a lemon and honey, which is very nice, but not lemon and lime. But that does sound good as well. But I hope you're doing well this morning. Welcome to the stream. Any pairs you're looking at, feel free to drop it in the chat. I think I'll go through my watch list in a moment. Oh, okay. Damn, they're really making it difficult there. LFTJ needs to rest with traders. What's the payment method? How flexible? Are you talking about in terms of paying for an account or you getting paid? In terms of withdrawal process, you can use a wide range of services. If you go to the website, you'll see all of them, but PayPal, straight into your debit or credit card as well. We use WordPay, which is pretty notorious money management business. So pretty much any card you should be able to pay it into, any bank account you should be able to be paid into, but PayPal as well. There's crypto methods as well, USDT, and there are smaller methods as well, especially if you're in African or Asian countries. But if you go to the website, you're able to see the full availability of the payment services. And in terms of paying for challenges, pretty much the same methods as well: PayPal, bank transfer. Expired, so I applied for a new one, and the prop said you need to do it in 2 weeks. Eesh. To be fair, my friend did actually lose his passport. I think it was a week before we were meant to go away together. He used the fast track option, and he did get it in like 5 days. So you should be fine. Just you need to make sure you do fast track it though, because he was worried as well, because he wouldn't have his passport, but it came in like 5 days. So 2 weeks should be plenty of time, really. But book an appointment ASAP, and make sure you do fast track it. Otherwise, it could be a while. Okay, let's take a look at dollar CAD. So yeah, dollar CAD looking pretty bearish as well. Again, with this one, I like it because there's room. There's a lot of distance here for price to cover. I do expect us to eventually come back to the lows there at 1.35532. So I'm expecting a lot more downside here for dollar CAD. However, opportunities, how do we trade this? Well, we did get the counter trend line break, which would have been a nice entry. I was talking about opportunities up here yesterday, but it looks like price just didn't have enough juice to get there. And we did eventually see the counter trend line break, and momentum's kind of kicked in since then. So this becomes the first major target now for dollar CAD. That support level 1.373. We could bounce here. We might consolidate. We'll see how price reacts. There might be some short-term buys there as well, but I am very much a bear for dollar CAD. I've spoke about the major key levels on the weekly chart. As you can see, a lot of resistance once, twice, a third time. Yeah, potentially a fourth here, and I do think resistance is holding. And if that's the case, there's a lot of room for us to drop into. Not only just these lows, but these lows we could see price trade to. But again, that's a discussion for maybe in a few weeks' time. But as of now, I do think there's a lot of downside to be had for dollar CAD. So I did suggest intraday, maybe like a nice pullback into supply again, where maybe price can form another lower high. So you got one over there, second over there. There's your third, maybe a retest of supply there. That could be a smart place for a short if we were to see a pullback like that. Targets back at the low and maybe support there too. A smart idea could be waiting for the break of this low and then waiting for pullbacks afterwards. And then you got targets around here to aim for. I think that would be a very nice opportunity. Once we do see the break of that, that would be a very strong signal to say the bears have well and truly arrived here for dollar CAD, and we're probably going to continue lower. This, of course, will shape up into a nice head and shoulder pattern. That's your neckline. That's the break of the neckline, and then you expect price to trend lower. So, yeah, everything is pointing down here for dollar CAD. I wouldn't be looking to take buys. Maybe there's a short-term buy off there if you can scale right down to like a 15, maybe 5-minute chart. Yeah, there could be a nice little bump to the upside there, but I do expect us to eventually break through that. So I wouldn't get too carried away with the buys at that low. If we can get a pullback in the meantime, could be some nice shorts around 1.382. If not, maybe a break and retest or a breakout could be something to keep an eye on. But yeah, targets for me back at the lows 1.35532, and still a long way to go as well. So that's why I like dollar CAD. Still a long way to go. Nice opportunities presenting itself. Same with pound USD too. So yeah, that's more or less where I'm at with dollar CAD. But really bullish, really bearish with this one. Yeah, that is unfortunate, man. Should give you a bit more notice about this, to be honest. Backflip out the window. I mean, again, the worst case scenario, you do lose the account, which, what, $500 for the account, which again is not ideal. Yeah, it doesn't really matter what you spent the $500 on, or pounds on even. You definitely don't want to use that. But worst case scenario, you do the challenge again, and which again is a bit of a pain, to be honest. So yeah, you do really want to get this sorted, to be honest. But that would be the worst case scenario. You have to do the challenge again. As long as you you do back yourself, and you've got the ability and the confidence to trade through that annoyance, inconvenience. You should be back in no time. But yeah, of course, you don't wanna. It would be stupid for that to happen, really. Oh no, I've already done it. Can't change once it's done. Never guessed that it would ask me to get. Oh, okay. Yeah, exactly. If you do just have to go get it again, which of course is just a bit of a pain. Not the end of the world, which is the good thing. It's not the end of the world, just a bit of a pain, really. Especially when you've done the hard work to pass the challenge, and it's not necessarily that you're blowing the account. That's the problem. It's more so just an issue which is a very inconvenient one. But yeah, I mean, hopefully the passport can come before. I think it normally does become before the expected. They'll give you 3 weeks, and that's the room they have to have room to do the process. But normally it should be before. Okay, so in terms of, I don't think any more questions. In terms of pairs on the watch list, I already went through some yen pairs, so dollar yen, CAD yen, euro yen, and Swiss yen. I like the longs there. USD pairs, dollar CAD, which you just mentioned, pound USD as well. I like the buys for this one, expecting a lot more upside. I think this one I could be looking for some nice intraday pullbacks, but I have to be extremely careful because we've got a lot of news this week. Probably not the best week to be scaling down to like the 50-minute chart, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, USD, dollar CAD shorts, pound USD buys. I was looking at dollar CHF shorts at the start of the week, but this one ran away from me. Looks like this one's going to be heading to lows as well, so I'm not as interested with dollar CHF anymore. I was looking to see if we can have one more push to the upside into this area. That would be a nice place to position short, take out some of these early sellers into the market, but looks like they've timed it very well. That would be a nice confluence. You've got the trend line backing things up. You've got the continuous lower highs, which I was just trying to find the next one of, and hopefully getting it back to lows would have been the plan. So yeah, I did really like the opportunity coming into the week. I was hopefully looking for one more up move, then the drop, but no, price was just a bit too far bearish, and we are selling off there. So now I don't really see much opportunity. Again, maybe intraday if we do pull back. There might be an intraday pullback to consider, but there's not a lot of room to operate with. You've got support, which we're about to approach. So I'd rather focus on pound, where there's a bit more distance to operate in, and a bit more pips to catch there. So yeah, dollar CHF was at the start of the week I was something interested in, not so much anymore. Gold and silver, I do like those intraday as well. Particularly gold, I like this idea of a pullback into this zone. Lovely consolidation, strong breakout. A retest of that could look good. Silver is not looking as good. It's a bit more corrective, this one, but again, still very bullish. And I think if I scale to a 15-minute chart, this here is still an opportunity which does interest me. Lovely consolidation, nice breakout. We did see a retest yesterday, but we haven't really created new highs, or at least continue the trend. So if we do roll back over, that could still be a nice place for a buy as well, whilst coming back to retest the range as well. As for some of the crosses, like I said, Aussie CAD is starting to come into my watch list, my attention, because this has been very, very bullish for the past few days. I like the buys a lot. I still do think there's a lot of upside for Aussie CAD long term. I'm looking for a push all the way back here, but the market's just been far too bullish. I need that bigger pullback. Looks like now we're finally getting that. So I'm keeping a close eye as we do come back down for some pullbacks into this high, or maybe even better into this area here. So those opportunities I'm keeping a very close eye on. Again, I probably don't expect myself to be taking any buy trades this week for Aussie CAD, but maybe early next week something could set up. So in terms of the CAD pairs, Aussie CAD looks good. Euro CAD, I'm keeping a close eye out on shorts at the high here, but I have to be very, very careful. He talked a lot about this one. I like the shorts because of how price is moving on the daily chart. Every time price to sweep a high, we come straight back down. Sweep a high, come straight back down. Sweep another high, come straight back down. Sweep another high again, we come straight back down. So every time price does that, we do tend to fall. And I'm basically looking for the same pattern again to happen. And knowing where we're positioned on the monthly chart does really interest me, because I know that price is at major resistance. This is where we had a lot of selling pressure coming to the market. I do think at some point, especially with a market that's kind of overextended, I do think we will go for a bit of a dip. So I'm trying to time the shorts well. I have to be very careful because this is a very bullish trend right now, and I'm very much just calling the tops here, which is something that's always going to be very aggressive and more often than not will lead to a losing position. But if I can time it well and see good opportunities, I will give it a shot. At the moment, not quite seeing that. We have taken out the highs, but all price is doing is just consolidating right now. So that's not really giving me much to operate with. I did mention yesterday that maybe if you can see a strong close outside that range, that could be a nice entry. But I would have to be very careful quickly, because as price comes into this area, this is back in demand. This is still our prior higher low. Price may break out, but it could retest and continue higher. So as soon as I enter, I'm going to have to be very careful about here. So it may be a trade which I don't end up taking because the risk rewards might be a bit too shallow. I mean, the idea is looking for more of a reversal. So the risk rewards is not actually shallow. It could be very huge, but I have to be careful with these areas because the market is bullish and I have to show a lot of respect to that. So EuroCAD is something I'm interested in, but it's more so I'm just keeping an eye with each candlestick that closes on the 4-hour chart and just seeing if I can time something well. If not, I'll leave it alone. In terms of some of the crosses, I do like Euro Aussie to the downside as well. This one at the moment looks like it's going through some type of a pullback. On the higher time frames, I'm looking at this as like a major double top. Price is being super corrective on the way up. I'm not convinced by this uptrend whatsoever. I do think we're likely to roll over. I do see price coming back to the lows there. So I am pretty bearish here for Euro Aussie right now. And I like the range price is created. I do see price continuing lower. So the plan really is a pull back into that zone and then some shorts around 1.785 back into these lows and then hopefully down there. But it would be a situation where I'd probably take most of the profit there and then leave some positions to continue. But I like what I'm seeing with Euro Aussie as well. And I quite like Euro NZD on the short side too. Looking to see what we can do at this supply zone. It's an aggressive trade because again, the trend is up, but if we do reject well, there might be some downside there to consider. Depends how we get there and how we react, of course. If momentum does pick up, I'll stay away. Perhaps price is going to continue higher, but I do think there's a good chance of a lower high forming here and I push back to lows. And in terms of the CHF pairs, I haven't been looking at the CHF pairs a lot lately, to be honest. I do think there's a lot of upside for AUD CHF long term, but I'm just being cautious right now. Price is kind of very flat here. I think if we can get a strong break to the upside, that will be the catalyst I'm looking for to take us back into these highs. So a strong break to the upside, pullbacks. This will be a higher low in comparison to this low. That's your high. And I'm looking at new high, maybe coming back into that supply zone. And that would be a target for the trade, or like a target I'm working towards. I might not necessarily target that with one position, but I would expect price to eventually get there. So yeah, need to see a strong break of this resistance, and then the buys are very much on. But at the moment, it's still flat. We're rejecting the highs pretty well, actually. If anything, there's some shorts for us to go down, but I'm not really interested with the sells as of yet. And the rest of the CHF is not quite doing it for me. So yeah, I got quite a few on the watch list. A lot of it is around yen, around dollar, a few crosses here and there. And then in terms of the 50-minute time frame, pound USD longs, I do like the look of. it's a bit corrected now, so I do need price to improve a little bit in terms of momentum. But I like the breakout, so I will be looking for entries on the lower time frame for it, and hopefully something does develop there. Yeah, I don't understand that, to be honest. Yeah, I don't understand why it would be that situation. Why needs to be CO VAT registered? Because anyone with a valid government ID is a legit person in the government's eyes. At least that's how I see it anyway. So yeah, I don't understand that bit personally. No problem, Lighton. Happy to help. Happy to help. Gerald, what's up, my man? What's up? Yes, we can take a look at Euro for you, no problem. Yeah, that's why I thought. Again, most businesses would accept any valid form of government ID. You wouldn't need someone VAT registered. But hey. So yeah, with Euro USD looking very bullish, pulling back a little bit there. So maybe we do see that pullback. But yeah, my expectation for Euro is some new highs past that point. I do think price is likely to take out those highs, just like DXY is likely to take out its lows, which it's at the moment still gunning for. A bit of a pullback on that wick there, but doesn't really change a thing. Yeah, the structure's still pointing down. It would be nice for a pullback actually, so that would be good. But yeah, that's where I do expect the DXY to end up at. And it would be nice to maybe get a pullback into this zones. But yeah, looking at Euro USD onwards and upwards. Again, as price takes up this high, that's when I will kind of relax my bullish bias with Euro, because once we've done that, price has already done its job really. Because if you think about it, in a bullish market structure, once price pulls back, there's only two things price is eventually going to do: either continue the trend or not, reverse the trend and break structure. So once price has continued the trend and create new highs, now we're coming into a new phase, which we don't really have too much information on. Maybe the market does pull back straight away. Maybe we do explode to the upside. Maybe this is a fake out for a reversal. Maybe price rejects resistance and falls over. I need to wait to operate and see how price does react at those highs. I never really want to be the first person to get into the market at those highs, really. It's always difficult to gauge. But yeah, so once Euro does do that, then I'll kind of back off. But for now, we haven't done that. So Euro still has reason to go higher. So if we do see some downside here, as long as we don't come crashing back down inside the range, I do think Euro is just going to continue higher. So dropping to like an intraday chart, I marked out a few areas where buys look good. Yesterday I was talking about the break and retest of this zone here. Lovely breakout. It would be nice to get the retest for some buys. Unfortunately, the market was far too bullish for us to even get that. Now we've got this bullish move consolidation there. It still would be nice to come back and retest that zone for a buy. But again, we might not even get that. Maybe the market's too bullish to see that pullback. This might be your best bet. And maybe dropping to like a 5-minute chart to trade that might be your best bet in terms of finding a solid entry. And this is around 1.18. So yeah, Euro USD really, really bullish. There's some key areas of consolidation, levels of demand which you can pull back into and find some nice entries. I wouldn't be looking to try and short this one at all. I know we're technically approaching resistance, but the trend is up and there's a likeliness to take up the high there. So yeah, I would wait for some type of pullbacks on the lower time frames. 5-minute chart, I'll consider this area. 15-minute chart, I'll probably be looking for this area here, 1.177. And maybe like an hourly chart. Probably would still consider that area there, kind of the retest of the high there too, but this area looks good as well. And then from then onwards, back to highs and hopefully further. So yeah, very, very bullish for Euro. And DXY looking the same as well. So yeah, I mean, for DXY, this zone looks good, but also that area, which lines up pretty well with the retest of the low there too. And that could be a nice opportunity. Again, 5-minute chart maybe for a sell if we don't get that bigger pullback. But in terms of direction, very bearish and expecting more downside. We've got the breakout now, so those questions have been answered. Now I'm expecting price to continue lower and see that move into the lows. So yeah, really bearish with USD. All USD pairs, the plan is looking to short the dollar or nothing at all really. So pairs like New Zealand dollar, which is still kind of trading at supply, at resistance. You know, I'm not really a fan of trying to buy New Zealand dollar right now because of where we're trading. But if we can break structure, so take up the highs here, then this chart becomes interesting as well. Looking for us to go and tick off these highs will be the next bet. And maybe I might become quite interested in New Zealand dollar. Depends how the breakout looks and momentum of everything. But that's something I can see myself potentially looking to trade. Lower time frame, there could be some opportunities in the meantime. Maybe more so hourly chart, because it looks like we're failing at highs. We had a pretty nasty wick there to the high, and this move looks really corrective to me anyway. So I would be looking for a push to the low there. You know, back into demand. Maybe take up this low here too. That could be a nice buy, but I think the better trade would be just waiting for the break of structure than the pullback afterwards. That way you got the sign that, okay, the market is bullish, we're breaking structure. There's a good likeliness for us to continue. And of course, we've got the backing from DXY at that point as well. And targets back to the high there would be the eventual plan. But the two USD pairs I like the most, pound and dollar CAD, will be my focus for now. What's up, Henrique? Welcome to the stream. Everything's good. Hope you're well. Yes, I can quickly go over that again for you. No problem. All right. Okay. No problem, Bashi. Yeah, you go and sort that out, my man. Best of luck as well. Best of luck. Okay, so we'll take a look at Euro NZD. Team iPhone and Team Samsung. Like, why are you trying to polarize phones, LFTJ? I'll let you answer that question first. Yusuf, look at G on the 15 again. Would you say it's a double top? Okay, let me go through UNSD quickly, then I'll take a look at GU. So yeah, Euro NZD 1.985. That's where I'm interested in personally. Of course, price right now has had a lovely bounce off the prior high here. It's come back to some nice area of demand as well. And let's not forget the trend is very much bullish too. So the market is taking advantage of that natural uptrend we have for UNSD. But the reason why I like this sell is because where we're positioned right at the highs here. If I zoom out completely, you can see where we're positioned here. The market is quite stretched. I do think there is a room to the downside. So I'd be cautious though. Just because we're high up doesn't mean we have to move down. Could always go a little bit higher, so I have to be careful of that. But if I see some signs here, I would be banking on another lower high forming, another push back down. If you are bullish, then ideally you kind of want to already be in the position, or maybe wait to see if we double bottom, and then maybe some buys after that could look good. So that way you can position yourself at these lows, get some solid stops, and still take advantage of a swing. Because this could just be a big pullback potentially, a big correction for us to continue. So you don't really want to be entering buys here. You want to be focusing your buys here so you can take advantage of the move to the upper end of the channel, and then maybe things go well, the breakout too. Or you can wait for the breakout and then buy afterwards. That'll be a bit more of a later entry. And since we're at highs, I think your better bet will be trying to time the lows and getting some stops underneath the low there. So yeah, UNSD respecting the price structure really well. If you're not in buys, you kind of want to enter buys down at this support zone if we can get there again. If we do or not, I'm not too sure. But let's say if we do see a push down, that's where you want to position yourself. If you are short bias, then this is where I'm looking to see if we can find a lower high forming just to complete this pattern, and then targets will be back at the low again, and maybe further too, because there's a lot of room to the downside, but I wouldn't necessarily try and bank on a complete reversal just yet. So yeah, it depends on your bullish or your bearish bias, which opportunity you're looking for. There's shorts and buys around. Just need to make sure you position yourself smart. In the middle here, I wouldn't look to do anything. I know there's a possible break and retest there, but I'm not convinced. I do think price will probably head a little bit higher before shorting. So yeah, 1.985 is more so my interest. Hopefully that made sense. GU on the 15, is that a double top? Let us see. Possibly. Again, depends on your definition of a double top. If your double top definition is just for price to fail at highs or prior lows, then yeah, it would be. Some people don't count a double top until you see the break of a neckline. So if the market does create the high, pulls back, and then retest the high, they don't count it as a double top until you see price break the low. This way you wait for the most confirmation, because technically speaking, price can go and form a lot of double tops just for it to later continue. Price might struggle at highs slightly and then suddenly break through. You've probably seen that happen a million times, because it's not every time that price will run into resistance and just break it straight away. Sometimes it will have a little bit of a reaction, then it will break. So you don't want to get sucked in too much of those opportunities, because there will be many times where it will happen and the price doesn't. So technically speaking, you want price to kind of break a neckline, which in this case would be this low here. If price does start breaking through that, then yeah, I would definitely say that's a double top. And you might see price start to trend lower. It's not a double top in the essence that I expect this trend to now reverse. It might just be a double top for us to pause a little bit, form that next high, have the next pullback, and then continue. So in that case, maybe, but we are selling off pretty hard right now. But yeah, I would wait for price to break through that support, and then that's the confirmed double top. Because price could very much bottom here, respect it, and then continue, and then it's like, okay, that never really was a double top, was it? Or at least a significant one anyway. So yeah, neckline is an important metric to take into account. It's not like you have to wait for the neckline every time. It just gives you the best confidence and possibility that is a double top. Because if you try and anticipate it before it's happened, which there's nothing wrong with that, it's just more of an aggressive outlook, especially when it's counter trend as well. If you're pro trend, let's say the market is pro trend, and then it forms a double top here. Okay, that's something that I do like, because I've got the natural trend in my favor. So there's a good chance that price does probably react and form a double top. If the market is trending aggressively to the upside, and I'm trying to anticipate highs there, it's just a much difficult, more aggressive opportunity compared to this one. Same logic applies. Still waiting for price to test the high there rather than waiting for the neckline break. Waiting for this to break or that to break. You're still anticipating the high. But here you got a lot more in your favor. Here you don't have that much. Both trades could still play out. Both trades could still fail. But I'd rather take these trades time and time again rather than these trades. And that's kind of the situation we're in here. New Zealand CHF. Okay, we'll take a look at that one. You said sell? Sells New Zealand CHF. Okay, I can see that. Looks like we're having the breaking test at the low. So, yeah, I would be looking at shorting New Zealand CHF. It looks to me that we just had a breakout, the consolidation. I'll come back to retest it. If I'm looking for entries, though, I think here you're a little bit late to the party, because you got the higher lows here, which price is about to come in. Again, maybe price does break through and continue lower, but I wouldn't try and time it there. It'd be nice to see if we can rally back into resistance again, so we can time entries again, bring it back to the double top conversation. That would be a nice place to time a short, because again, I'm coming back into resistance. I know that price is liking to continue the trend, I can be a bit confident shorting at the high there. Or you can wait for the counter trend line break. Again, gets you into the trade a little bit later. But in this case, momentum is well and truly confirmed with the bears, and there's a likeliness that price will come back to the low. This will give you a better risk reward and entry. This will give you a better kind of win rate and success of the trade actually working out, because maybe the double top doesn't play out and maybe you do push higher. But waiting for that momentum will give you a better accuracy. So yeah, New Zealand CHF, I do think shorts look good here, but timing's a bit off now. I think entering now, you just come into the trend line where price could bounce. So either bigger pullback or then a continuation. Franc yen, yeah, I do have Swiss yen as my pair that I'm interested in trading this week, but it's kind of run off without me. So I wouldn't be looking to take a buy because number one, we're coming straight. Ooh, what happened there? Because we're coming straight into resistance. So as you can see, resistance all across there. I wouldn't want to buy directly into that. So I don't see a good buy opportunity unless price was to have a pullback here, which is what the plan was at the start of the week. Hopefully this to happen, then a continuation. Or now it is probably the break of that, then some pullbacks for continuation. This way, you've at least got this level to your backs and hopefully some decent momentum to follow as well. Buying now just doesn't really make too much sense. You're going straight into resistance. Maybe you do catch the breakout, but your price has rejected this on a few occasions. You have all the probability that price doesn't break out and does push back down. So you're waiting for either the bigger pullback, 184.3 looks good, or maybe the breaking test of the high. But yeah, you are right to have the bullish bias. The trend is up. I wouldn't be looking to short either, but the timing is going to be important as well. But anyway, guys, we have reached the end of the stream. I hope you guys have enjoyed it, found it useful. If that's the case, make sure you do drop a like. It does really help out, and subscribe to the channel. If you do want to see more of the content, make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. If you do want to support the channel further, there are memberships which you can look to join, members only perks, members only videos posts as well. So if you are interested, you can check that out too. But guys, thank you so much for watching the video, the stream. If you haven't dropped your email in the Google form, if you're looking to participate in the competition we're running on our Perps platform, just a bit of fun. There will be cash prizes for the best performing traders there. Drop your email in the Google form if you're looking to give it a go. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. As always, I will be live again tomorrow, the day after, every weekday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. So if you are free, do jump on, come say hi, and let's chat about trading. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day, and I hope to see you all tomorrow.
Six AI agents, each built with a unique edge. Miko, AI, Team Leader. Ori AI, Fundamental Analyst. Exi, AI, Technical Analyst. Mesa, AI, Risk Management Specialist. Fenwa, AI Market Sentiment Analyst. And Naledi AI, the cryptocurrency expert. Together, they're engineered to protect, guide, and transform your trading. The future of trading is here. Experience Zentrix AI.